The cards are cut. The questions are set. So let's go ahead and see what they'll bet on Card Shark. And here's the host of Card Shark, Jim Perry.
Hello there. Welcome to Card Shark. Nice to have you here with us. You're a nice group. Wow. Very kind. Thank you. Thank you for joining us at home. We appreciate it. And we also appreciate a nice opening poem from Donna Parenti of Hawthorne, California, watching on KNBC Channel 4. Thank you, Donna. Now let's open the board and get to those cards. Go ahead. And Janice and Lois will load them in, and we'll meet our Card Sharks. Brett Lane is our champion. Hi, Brett. I'm fine. What you again tell us about you, sir?
Well, I'm Brett Lane. I'm a student at college nearby here, and I'm majoring in business administration.
And you are a very good businessman here. Brett has won $6,650 in cash. Good player. Challenger, Sandy Gerber. Sandy, again, a reminder about you.
Sandy Gerber, and I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, and I'm presently a full-time student at UCLA.
Now, did you come here as a student, or are you living here?
No, I'm living here right now. I've lived here for 3 years.
Staying?
Yes.
Good.
I love California.
That's nice. Nice to have you back. You both cut the cards?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's pick up where we left off. We play the best 2 games out of 3, as always. We're in the middle of game number 1. Looking at the board, Brett has moved over now with a 9 as his base card. He needs 3 cards. Sandy also with a 9, but she needs 4. We pick up with question 3, and as we left off, it goes to you, Brett. Brett, we surveyed 100 women who have become top business executives, and we asked them, did you start your career as a secretary? How many women executives did start their career as a secretary?
In today's world, many women start out on a low level just like men, and one of the jobs for the women would be to be a secretary, and then later on move up in life. So for the experience, I'd say it'd be a pretty high number, but not too high. I'd say probably about 68.
68 out of 100 top business executives, women started as secretaries. Higher or lower?
I would say a little lower than that.
A little lower.
A little lower.
If it's lower, you'll play your cards. If not, Brett will play his. And if you can hit it right on the head at any time, a $500 bonus. The actual number of women executives who did start their career as a secretary is 47. You're right, Sandy. It's lower. So, Sandy, you've got a 9. You win the question, and you can change the base card. And a good change. Lower than the king. Yes, an 8.
Freeze.
On the middle card, we move over the freeze bar to protect that position. Both players need 3 cards. Sudden death. Someone has to win it on this play of the cards. And looking at those base cards, a 9 and an 8, I think getting control is going to be very important. Sandy, we asked 100 marriage counselors. Generally speaking, when a married man has romantic fantasies about other women, is it usually because he's bored with his wife? How many marriage counselors said when a man has fantasies about other women, it is usually because he's bored with his wife?
Okay, I don't think that's going to be a very high number because usually you can fantasize about stars or any type of people that you might just happen to like, and I don't think that it would in any way make you like your husband or your wife less. So I would say around...
How many say it is because they're bored?
A low number.
How low?
35.
35. All right, now we got one. 35. What do you think,
That's
Brett?
a very interesting question. I think men just sort of fantasize because they, not because they're bored with their husbands, but because their wives, but because, hopefully not their husbands on the side, because of their wives, because of many different things. For that reason, I'll have to say lower.
Lower than that. Certainly wouldn't want them to get bored with their husbands. 35 and lower. The actual number of marriage counselors who say when a man has fantasies about other women, it's usually because he's bored with his wife, is 8. Very much lower. Brett gets that all-important control, meaning 3 cards. Sandy needs 3, but with control, you can play it or pass it.
I'll have to pass it.
Sandy, you've got your work cut out for you. You've got to get them all, and you're starting right up the middle with an 8.
Okay, I will say higher than an 8.
Higher than an 8? No.
Yeah!
Brett wins the first game in sudden death. Getting control looked like it was going to be the most important there. Worked out for Brett. We'll be back with game 2 after this. I feel like I'm chasing Vincent Price away. There's a fly over here. We're dealing out the same 2 decks of cards with the next cards off the top of the deck. Starting game 2 with a question to Brett. Brett, we asked 100 bartenders. Have you ever worked at a bar where the owner poured cheap liquor into expensive bottles to fool the customers? How many bartenders have worked in a bar like that?
My uncle's a bartender, and he's sort of cheap himself. For that, I don't know. I think he works at a cheap place that would do something like that. If people that own bars can make a living off doing cheap things like that, they'll do it. That reason, I think it'll be a pretty high answer. I'll say 58.
58 out of 100. What do you think, Sandy?
I think it will be a little lower than that.
Little lower. You don't think they will? Before we find out the answer, Brett, do you ever think your uncle will give you a free drink again?
Never,
No,
never,
I don't
never.
think so. 58 and lower. The actual number of bartenders who've worked at a bar where cheap liquor was poured into expensive bottles to fool the customers is 25. Sandy's right. It's lower. Sandy needs this game, and she's starting off with a 10.
I'll change that card.
Can she improve it? Well, 6.
I'll say higher.
Higher than a 6. An ace.
Lower.
Lower than the ace. A 9. Halfway across the board goes Sandy. If Sandy, you like that, huh, Sandy?
Yeah.
Sandy, we asked 109-year-old boys, have you ever walked out of a party because the only games the girls wanted to play were kissing games? How many 9-year-old boys have walked out of a party because the girls only wanted to play kissing games?
I think 9-year-old is the time when you discover kissing. So I would say that would be...
Good at age as any, I would think.
Yeah. I would say around 43.
43 have walked out rather than play those kissing games, Brett.
I think it'll be a lot lower than that.
Lower. I remember when I was a kid, the girls were always sneaky. See, they wouldn't serve you the cake and the ice cream until after you played those games, remember? You had to play them. Dummy me didn't want to play them. 43 and lower. The actual number of 9-year-old boys who've walked out of a party because all the girls wanted to do was play kissing games is 15. It's lower.
All right.
Brett, you got it. Brett starts off this game with a 6.
Change that card.
And the 6 becomes a 3.
All right, good.
change.
Higher, higher.
Higher than a 3. No. 2 is not higher. Sandy with a break and a free chance.
I would say lower.
Lower than a 9. Yes, a 4.
Higher.
If it's higher, she ties up the match. She did. We have a tie. We're tied at 1-1. Each player, one game, $100. We set up for the tiebreaker with just 3 cards up there, 3 questions here. And we start the tiebreaker with you, Brett. Brett, the Statue of Liberty has a poem on its base that welcomes immigrants to our shores with the lines, there once was a I'm sorry. Excuse me. Brett, the Statue of Liberty... The Statue of Liberty has a poem on its base that welcomes immigrants to its shores with the lines, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. So we asked 100 Americans, do you think the United States should still live up to this welcome? How many Americans believe we should continue to welcome immigrants to this country?
That's what's made our United States great. We've allowed all kinds of people come into our country and make it a nice melting pot. I think most Americans feel that way. For that reason, I'll say about 58.
58
Okay.
out of 100 feel that we should.
I am going to, even though the audience is screaming higher, I'm going to go lower because that Statue of Liberty was from a long time ago, and I think definitely lower.
I think the times have changed.
Yes.
We both disagree on this one. Interesting. The actual number of Americans who believe we should continue to welcome immigrants to this country is 51. It is lower. Andy solved it. He gets that all-important first crack at the cards with a king.
Lower!
Lower than a king, a 6.
Higher!
We have a new champion. If it's higher, no. Brett is still in it, and he gets a free chance at a 6.
Higher!
Higher than a 6? No. Janice will fill in the spaces. And it's question 2 going to Sandy. Sandy, we asked 100 single women, if you were on a date with a really handsome man, and when you started getting romantic, he said to you, I've never done this before. You'll have to teach me everything. Would you be willing to teach him? How many women would be willing to instruct the inexperienced man in the art of romance?
I think sometimes women like to be the leader, and I think this is a good opportunity for them. So I would say right around 63.
63
Are willing to teach them.
would teach the man.
Women love to sometimes be the dominant thing. They wouldn't mind teaching. For that reason, I'll say higher.
Higher than that? I don't know what the answer is, but boy, if I'd known that line when I was single, what a terrific one. 63 and higher. The actual number of single women who said they would be willing to instruct the inexperienced man in the art of romance is 69. It's higher.
Yeah!
Brett's got it.
Change that card.
Can now get rid of the 6. Another 6.
Higher.
Higher than a 6. An 8.
Yeah. Higher.
He's going to take a chance on the middle card. If it's higher, he has the championship.
Yeah.
Brett took a chance, and he won it. Close match, right to the wire. Sandy, we have to say goodbye. Thank you. You're a good player. Got $100 in cash and some nice party gifts. Thank you, Sandy. Come on down here, Brett. Again, the champion comes through. Brett Lane up to $6,850. Goes for a lot more with the money cards right after this. He was tough. He was a tough player. You cut the cards?
Yeah, I have.
Let's get over and play them, Brett. Come on. Here we go. All right. $200 of new money with those money cards and 3 cards. Your decision how you bet them on the bottom line. When you move up to the second level, we add another $200 of betting money. 3 more cards. Minimum bet's $50 till you get to the top card. The big bet, where you must risk at least half the money. Here you're on your own. We want to give you every opportunity, so if you get a double, you don't lose. We'll carry it over for you.
Okay.
All set?
All set.
Here's $200. And you can change your base card on each level if you need to. Thank you, Lois. We'll start Brett off with 200 and a 9.
Oh, change that card.
Must play this when you can only change it once.
Oh.
The middle with an 8.
$50 higher.
$50 minimum bet higher. He's right.
Yeah, all right.
9, 250.
Let's go. $50 lower.
$50 again, the minimum bet. Lower. And great
right,
trade,
all
though.
right.
An ace for $50.
The whole thing lower.
Trying for 400 if this is lower than the ace. But you don't lose on the double. You still have the 200. You were trying for 400. Well, you're going to have 400 when we give you the other 200.
All right.
It's a great card. 400.
$400 lower.
Let's make it 800 if this card is lower. Yes.
All right, yeah. Let's say $50 higher.
$50 higher than the 7.
Yeah, all right. Let's say $100 lower.
$100 lower than the 9. Down to 750, but pretty interesting card, the Queen. Do you want to play it? And what are you going to do with the big bet?
$700 lower.
All right, $700 if this card is lower than a Queen.
Yes. Yeah, right, yeah.
$1,450. All right. Brett, you do very well. I must say, you get a lot of 7s, 8s, and 9s, but you still manage to get mileage, and this fine champion is up to $8,300. We'll have a new challenger out to see if they can stop him right after this. Get the most of the Back with a very analytical champion who plays this game very well, and as Janice deals out 2 brand new decks of cards, we'll meet a new challenger here on Card Sharks. Hello, Philip. Nice to have you here. And won't you tell us about you, sir?
I'm Philip Anderson, and I live in the town that I think has the distinction of having the longest name in California. That's La Cañada Flintridge. And I'm a minister, and the name of my church is the Church of the Lighted Window.
The church? Well, that's pretty. I thought it would be the Church of the La Cañada Flintridge or something. I go to a theatrical church. It's Our Lady of Perpetual Reruns. It's a wonderful parish that we have here. Nice to have you here with us, Philip. Good luck. You cut your cards?
I did.
Then we will start the best 2 out of 3 with a question to Brett. Brett, we found 100 married women who've had a trial separation from their husband and are now back together. And we asked them all through the separation, did you continue wearing your wedding ring? How many women continued wearing their wedding ring during the separation?
I think that's going to be a pretty middle-of-the-road number. Some women would like to take it off so nobody can go out with other people, but some sort of want to keep it sort of in mourning. I think it'll be...
In mourning?
In mourning. Yeah, they hate to see him go. I think it'll probably be about 58 did.
58 out of 100 continued to wear the wedding ring, Philip.
I think Brett is a very sharp guy, but I'm going to say lower.
Lower than that. I don't know with this one. The actual number of women who wore their wedding ring during their separation is 52. You're right, Philip.
Hey!
Nicely solved by the challenger. And Philip starts off the match with a 4.
Higher.
Playing it higher. An ace.
Lower.
Lower than an ace. A 7.
Freeze.
Move over the freeze bar. I keep looking, Philip. You are a minister of the cloth, but I keep seeing Pat McCormick. Every time I look over and see Philip, he reminds me of Pat. Philip, we asked 100 men in their 80s. Remember what you wanted to be when you were a little kid? Well, now tell us, is that type of job no longer around today? How many 80-year-old men said that type of job is no longer around?
Well, I know a number of 80-year-old men, and I think they have had a sense of vocation for a long time that probably is still in effect, so I'm going to say that's a fairly high number. I'll say 62.
62 out of 100 wanted a certain job and it's no longer with us anymore.
Definitely lower. Definitely lower.
Lower than that. The actual number of 80-year-old men who said that type of job is no longer around is 51. Definitely lower. Right. Brett with a little catching up to do in game one. Starts with an 8.
Change that card. Change it.
Middle card to a jack.
All right, lower.
Lower than a jack.
All right,
2.
higher.
Higher than a 2. A king.
Lower.
Lower than a king. A 10.
Freeze.
Champion goes way across the board, needing 1 card for the game. It's question 3 to Brett. Brett, we asked 100 Catholic priests. Generally speaking, do you think most priests would be able to understand their parishioners' problems better if they were allowed to marry and have a family of their own? How many priests think they would understand their parishioners' problems better if they were allowed to marry and have a family?
That's going to be a low number. Priests have been trained before they become a priest to know those kind of problems. So when they become a priest, they should already know what's going on. I think it'll be low, probably about 32.
32 out of 100 priests said they would be able to understand the
I
problems
would think
better.
there's an increasing movement in that direction within the church, and I would say higher.
Higher than that. The actual number of priests who think they would understand their parishioners' problems better if they were allowed to marry and have a family is 18. Not higher, it's lower.
Yeah.
I was
Change
surprised
that
as you
card.
were on that one, Philip. And now Brett with a big change, and the 10 becomes an 8.
Lower, lower.
The first game of the match.
Yeah.
Great change for the champion, and he gets game 1. I tended to agree with you on that one, Philip. I thought it would be higher, but I guess they didn't feel they needed it, though there is certainly a lot of impetus towards the family now with the church. And now comes the same 2 decks of cards with the next cards off the top of the deck. And now the pressure on the challenger. Philip, recently in Florida, smugglers dropped a 100-pound bale of marijuana from a plane, and it crashed through the roof of a man's house. That's a fact, it did. Well, like a good citizen, he turned it over to the authorities. So we asked 100 people, be honest, if 100 pounds of marijuana suddenly landed in your living room, would you turn it over to the police? How many people claim they would turn the marijuana over to the police?
Jim, I trust the integrity of the American public, and I think that would be a number in the neighborhood of 63.
63 out of 100 would turn it over.
No way. People today, if they have a gift drop right in their living room, they will keep it. It'll be lower.
Lower than that. Figure that as a gift from on
A
high.
gift
If
from
it drops
heaven.
63 and lower. The actual number of people who would turn the marijuana over to the police is... Your faith is rewarded, Padre. You're right. Philip, you've got it. 76, and Philip starts off this game with a 3.
Higher.
Higher than a 3, a 10.
Freeze.
And Philip takes the 1-card advantage, and we'll be right back as we take advantage of a brief moment to sell some products. Back with a couple of very good players, and that's all the time we have for now. We'll finish this match with our next card sharks. And Philip, I must say, kidding with you is a lot of fun. I have found, we have had other ministers on, and I find, as a rule, the greatest sense of humor of our contestants have been ministers of the cloth. Why is it you people have a good sense of humor?
I think humor is the essence of humility, thinking less about ourselves and helps us to think a little more seriously about our maker.
That makes sense to me. We'll see you both back here, and I do hope we'll see you both back here next time on Card Sharks. Nice people in the audience from Buffalo Center, Iowa, and also a group of students from Cajon High School in San Bernardino, California. Love to have you here sometime. We're going to show you our handsome audience. As I say goodbye for now, we'll see you next time on Card Sharks.
Bingo rules. Yes! Because winning rocks.
Of course.
And bingo rocks.
True.
Because winning rules.
Yes, it is true.
So if you like bingo,
Thank you.
and you love winning,
Please.
play along with Bingo America, and you could rock your way to the bank.
Wow.
Go to gsn.com to print your cards for your chance to win.
Oh, aren't you correct?
Bingo America tonight at 6:30, 5:30 Central, only on GSN.